Hey everyone, getting ready to make a video response to, what's her name again? Let me just scroll up here real quick. Lisa Phillips. If you see this video, Lisa, I want you to take everything I say to heart. I want you to understand what I'm trying to tell you. You might fucking learn something. And even though you seem to have credentials, I mean the first sentence in the article, well, first, let's get to the headline. I want to cover the headline first because this is quite something here. This is something that a national media outlet, newspaper, the Globe and Mail, this is something that they're willing to put forth as journalism in 2015 for the masses. 5 reasons to stop obsessing about balanced budget. So what that's saying is, stop worrying about living within your means. Stop worrying about fucking spending more than you bring in. Now, in a household, that would be bad enough. If you had a household type setting and the father or the mother somebody was just racking up the credit cards and spending way more than they bring in year after year, that would be difficult enough. But actually, the limitations would be set. It's already predetermined that there's a limitation for everyone in the private sector. You can only spend so much. Take on so much credit, take on so much debt, when somebody, a credit agency, a bank, corporation, financing outfit, they will cut you off at some point when they recognize, no. But in the public sector, where they can just fucking steal, you don't have to live within a budget, I guess, when you have a mindset like Lisa where, well, yeah, but why do we have to live within the budget? We could steal from this generation, and when we run out of the money that this generation produces, well, hey, we can always fucking steal and borrow from future generations. They'll pay for it. Don't worry. The economy will grow. They'll have lots of money. Don't worry. They'll take care of it. Never in a household would any fucking parent or grandparent ever be able to say, I'm just going to live however I see fit. Assume as much fucking debt as I can, take on as much credit and debt as I can, live completely in some delusional world, and just pass the bills on to the kids and the grandkids. As if the kids and the grandkids, if they knew this, wouldn't fucking revolt tomorrow and say, fuck you, I paid for your fucking shit. But see, the government is trying to live in this manner because in a personal relationship in your family can't force you to pay for their debts. Your family can't force you to, take up the slack where they fucked up. Although with government, they're getting to the point where they're wanting to make laws to force successive generations to pay for the faults of their fucking previous generations. But in a household, that could never happen. But here in government la land, in fantasy land, you have people like Lisa here that believes, and this is what I was trying to get to too. The first sentence. Lisa Phillips is a professor at York University's Osgood Hall Law School. Yeah, this woman's got credentials, right? She's got diplomas and shit. She spent a shitload of money probably on her education. Either that or she was subsidized in one aspect or another, or get grants or scholarships. But either way, this is someone that should have a fucking brain on her shoulders based on her supposed credentials. But stop obsessing about a balanced budget. This is what she's going at. This is what she's trying to put forth. And you wonder why the world is fucked. And you wonder why people think that they can just live like kings and queens. And there will never be any problem with it. Well, no, I suppose if you can keep the fucking trick going, the dog and pony show going long enough where you can fucking pawn that shit off on a few successive generations. And once you're dead, like John Maynard Keynes himself said, right? This is what these people think. These are Keynesians. And what John Maynard Keynes say? When he was actually called out by many people that knew better about their shit, what was his response? Well, in the end, we're all dead anyway, right? So if you have a mindset that just do whatever you can to get away with, fuck with everything as much as you can, live in the moment, enjoy everything that you can do now, don't worry about the future, don't worry about anybody else, then yeah, I suppose, you could, hey, right? If a fucking snake oil salesman could keep selling his snake oil to unsuspecting victims, of course he's going to keep doing it. The problem is, though, it's not a voluntary thing where somebody could just come. I don't have the ability, like if a snake oil salesman comes to the door tomorrow, or today, I could shut the fucking door in his face and say, what are you, fucking insane? I don't want to buy your snake oil bullshit. I've seen your kind before. And I don't want no fucking oceanfront property in fucking Arizona either. Or Utah. Right? But when it comes to government, it's not like I can say, hey, I don't believe in this shit Lisa says, and therefore I don't want to have nothing to do with it, and say, hey, she's allowed to think whatever she wants. If she can get enough people on her side in a democratic situation, well, they can fucking literally force me through, the threat of, if you don't do what I say, the government will come down on you, which they already have many times in my life, because I've never done what the fuck. I don't fucking listen to the edicts of some fucking sociopaths and control freaks. I live my life morally, justly, ethically. I never cause harm on anyone that has never caused harm on me. And if you could find one example of it in my fucking life, 45 years, if you can find one example, dig, search, whatever the fuck you gotta do. If you could find one time in my life where I fucking harmed any individual that hasn't fucking threatened me first or caused hardships to me, it won't happen. Why? Because that's just who I am. I walk soft and carry a big stick. I don't have to go around threatening people or causing harm to them for no fucking reason. But these parasitical pieces of shit like Lisa Phillips here, they have no problem throwing their successive generations under the bus. She probably fits into the category of a sociopath, which is another topic I'm going to cover here soon, because Anna Maria Tremonti did a video on the CBC radio about it, and I'm telling you, that's something that's it actually is a topic that really needs to be covered. But here we go. Let me read through some of this article here so we can kind of dig into the mind of these people, right? See where they're coming from. As the 2015 government budget season rolls out across the country, what should Canadians really be watching for? So far, the bottom line is hogging too much of the attention. The hype about balanced budgets is understandable given the enormous political capital at stake. Finance Minister Joe Oliver made this perfectly clear on Wednesday when he confirmed the government will introduce legislation. What is less clear is why we care so much about the bottom line above all else. Achieving a surplus has moved beyond a sensible policy goal to a kind of fetish. Here are 5 reasons why we should worry less about the bottom line in any particular year and move about the tax and spending decisions that made to get there, and more about the tax and spending decisions made to get there. It's only a projection. A budget is a plan for the next 12 months based on predictions about employment levels, interest rates, corporate profits, and other notoriously unpredictable numbers such as commodity prices. A modest surplus or deficit in the budget can easily reverse itself over the course of a year. Cyclical balance is a responsible goal. Annual balance not so much. The 2008. Anyways, if you go and like I said, let me give you, because I don't want to read through all this fucking bullshit. It's a waste of my time, to be honest with you. But it's Lisa Phillips, April 9th, 2015, the Globe and Mail. 5 reasons to stop obsessing about balanced budget. So if you want to go and read the article, by all means, go and read the article. See what the hell it's all about. Just a quick Google search away. But you will come to realize that the kind of shit that she's talking about is pure Keynesian bullshit. And it's this collective mentality where you just worry about the here and now. And, if you get into trouble, don't worry about the fact. Because, see, that's the thing. When the government... This is what happens, man. This is what happens in every fucking socialist, communist, fucking collective of fucking utopian bullshit. Is once you reach the point where any other human being on the earth would say, okay, there's nothing I can do now. I'm at my peak limit. I got to start living within my means. Governments are not restricted to the confines of everything else we have to deal with. Governments can just call up and say, hey, print more money, devalue our currency, or write 50-year bonds, right? Government IOUs, and don't worry about it. No human being on this planet outside of a government entity, magical, mystical bullshit, could ever do this shit. But governments, this is the thing, and they have a tax base. They have lots of slaves that they can steal their money from. So, Even if this generation don't want to steal this much, what they recognize is, don't worry, we've taught the millennials to be good little slaves and serfs. And they're actually a lot less, against being ripped off, stole from. They're more than willing to put their head down to the grindstone and have 50, 60, 70% of their wages stolen from them. They'll fall for our shit. So we just got to get past this little bump in the middle here. We've got to get through these, especially Generation X, which has, we're lucky that we still understand what being fiscally conservative and living within your means is all about, because people like myself that grew up, and some of us were, our grandparents played a big role in being raised. And I remember hearing all about my grandparents, like the greatest generation, about, they fought this communist, socialist, this living off everybody's mentality, and they understood that not only were they fighting it abroad, but they had to fight it within their own country to make sure they were fiscally responsible, fiscally conservative enough to the point where they weren't passing their debts on to successive generations. I listened to people that talked about this stuff, so I still understand it. Now, the younger generations, even my kids, except I tell them these things, but I'm just one person telling them. In school, most of the teachers, they're telling them the opposite. Balanced budgets, living within your means, not spending other people's money, not holding a gun to their fucking head and robbing successive generations. No one in academia is telling them that that's immoral and it's wrong. They're telling them that that's fine. That's completely normal. That's what democracy is. Oh, how dare you try to tell people to live within their means? You're so cruel. You're so heartless. You're so mean. Look, they're going to suffer if they try to live within their means. You can't be that cruel. What are you, a heartless, libertarian or something? This is the fucking shit. And it's hard enough for people like myself to try to fight all the bullshit propaganda and indoctrinations that my kids have been taught. But then have people like fucking Lisa here that, even though we fucking on a regular basis try to establish some good morals and principles in our kids. Now, my kids won't fall for your shit, Lisa, because they have me. But think of all the millions of Canadians that don't have parents like myself that's willing to do what I do. They're going to fall for this shit, Lisa, and you're placing them in a position where you're using your credentials to manipulate their minds. And you know that's exactly what you're doing, Lisa. Because I bet you in your own fucking life, I don't know if you're married, have kids or not, but I'm pretty sure that at some point in time, if you just try to keep living outside of your means and fucking spending more and getting more and more credit cards to pay off the other credit cards by using minimum payment, at some point in time, there's going to be somebody's going to cut you off and say, listen, we know you're living outside your means and we're not willing to accept all these extra fucking things that you're trying to take on. We know you're never going to be good for it, so the buck stops here. You know this. There's a restriction on every one of our ability to spend outside of our means. Except when it comes to government. When it comes to government, there is no such thing as a restriction. When it comes to government, and if you've spent beyond your means, they have the magical capacity to say, let's write out 50-year IOUs, we'll print a bunch of money up. We won't worry about paying that bill today or tomorrow or next year. In 50 years, there'll be somebody who'll come up with a way to pay that off. We'll just do it now. That's what'll make us popular for the people. We could throw money at them, promise them some fictional fucking bullshit in the future that, hey, we'll give you free this. We'll take $1 from you and we'll give you back $5. Because we're magic. Woohoo, look at this. Look, we're magical. This is the kind of shit you're trying to propagate, Lisa. And I fucking think it's really disgusting. And as a matter of fact, the Globe and Mail has proven to me, even though they try to act like they're going to be our, adversarial journalists in fucking Canada. Oh, we're principled? Nah. I know that you're just still trying to define the narrative, but you're not fooling anyone. Well, actually you are fooling some people, but you're not fooling me. And you're not going to fool, and there's going to be a lot less people you're going to fool because of people like me. So I know what you're all about, Lisa. You might want to now, for your kids' sake, for your grandkids' sake, for anyone else that you care about sake, you might want to start retracting some of this bullshit you talk about. Tell them to live within their means. This is the Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.